Cool, hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Another little live stream requested by Tan for a little while ago actually, for us to do this Singapore to Kuala Lumpur shuttle service. Singapore Airlines, for example, run the service. It's a 37-minute flight time, but they run the service on a 777, which is bizarre. It's about 3 or 4 airlines that run it on a long-haul aircraft, twin aisle, a couple of times a day. So a hell of a lot of people going between the two airports. But we're of course in Air Asia X colours today. At Changi stand Foxtrot 32 Terminal 2 in Singapore. And we're going through the brief bits of setup. Hello Tan, hope you enjoy the video. Requested by yourself, of course. Gracias Manuel, and afternoon Dominic, welcome. Yeah, we're checking out the custom fly-by-wire work done by the fly-by-wire development team. If you're new to the channel, do consider clicking that subscribe button down below, and be sure as well to check out the tutorials playlists on the channel as well if you want to get started on the VATSIM network, of course. I've got an entire mini-series for you guys to watch, all free of course, with some handy PDF documents to bolster that as well in the links to each of the descriptions for those videos, so I hope you find it all useful. We've gone ahead and used SimBrief to generate our route, so we'll go ahead and just import all of this into the aircraft. You can see there a flight time of 37 minutes, nice and short. Block time of 1 hour 5. And performance weight balance. We want to do load and payload. Init page, so we request this. And then it goes. Our call sign Redcap 106. I've asked for flight level 260. It will probably get changed. I think last time I did this a few months ago it was a 280 cruise. Currently the ATIS at Changi is information alpha. Simultaneous dependent ILS visual approaches conducted, departing on runway 02 centre, and we're going to be using a MASBO 2 alpha departure. Just make sure this doesn't break it. We should be transitioning through MASBO, but there we go, that's in there. And then we want the Bobby 1 Papa arrival for Kuala Lumpur.
Singapore delivery, good evening, number 143, extend Foxtrot.
Expecting 32 right.
Request IFR clearance to Kuala Lumpur, information alpha. Singapore 143, cleared to Kuala Lumpur via MASBO 2 alpha departure, runway 02 center, flight plan route. Expect flight level 220, squawk 0130. Cleared to Kuala Lumpur via MASBO 2 alpha departure, runway 02 center, flight level 220, squawk 0130.
It's a strange arrival into
Singapore
Kuala
143,
Lumpur,
read back
as you guys
correct,
will find out.
contact Singapore radar 123.7 for pushback, good day. Good day.
And you can see that we're quite heavy. 65.3 tons. Oops. Let's check the zero fuel weights. Yeah, it's in the realms of correct there. So 29. That's the zero fuel weight. 1. Fuel planning. It's telling us we need block of 4. We've got 5.6. So we can go ahead and overwrite that, and it will give it a minute or so just to work itself out. There we go. Flight plans ready. RadNav page got the ILS for the arrival prepped. So we're pretty much good to go, I think. We need to get our clearance, of course. And that's all looking okay as well. So we've got ATIS and we've also got a controller on, as you guys may have heard. Just get my piece of paper updated. The aircraft over there has got clearance as well. Singapore clearance, good evening. Redcap 106 at stand Foxtrot 32 A320neo with information Alpha. Request IFR clearance to Kuala Lumpur.
Redcap 106, clear to Kuala Lumpur via Maspo 2 Alpha departure, runway 02 center. Flight plan route. Expect flight level 260, squawk 0156.
Cleared via the Masbo 2 Alpha departure, runway 02 centre, flight level 260, squawk 0156, Redcap 106.
Redcap 106, read correct. Contact Singapore radar 123.7 for pushback today.
Roger, contact centre for pushback. Have a good day, Redcap 106. Seb, hello, welcome. 123 700. So clearance is done. Singapore Centre is online, and they're going to manage all the airspace below us, Singapore radar, I should say. And we need to make sure, of course, we've got our squawk 0156. Stick that on auto. Lock the cabin door. Predicted wind shear's on. That's ready. They're all ready. We need to get rid of the door, of course. Using Pushback Express to control all of this. Seb, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. I hope you're finding the YouTube VATSIM tutorial playlist particularly useful. There's quite a few other channels that are starting to do a similar sort of thing as well, so I'm obviously doing something right because they're all sort of copying, and so be sure to spread the link for this playlist for my VATSIM tutorials as well. Let everybody know where it is. Sid was, let's see, Masbo 2 Alpha departure, Agvar at 11,000. Wow. Roger that. Took him at 2000, above 2,000, Acoma above 7,000, Agvar above 11,000, and then outbound from there. We need our taxi information on Navigraph. We're off external power. Let's see what signs are on. We can do beacon on. We're ready for pushback. So guys, let's crack on.
Singapore 143, request taxi.
Singapore 143, taxi South Cross 1, Echo Papa, holding point Echo 11, runway 02 center.
Taxi South Cross 1, Echo Papa, holding point Echo 1.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Singapore radar, good evening. Redcap 106, stand Foxtrot 32 at Singapore, request push to start.
Redcap 106, Singapore radar, good evening. Push and start approved to face east, QNH 1009.
Push start facing east, QNH 1009, Redcap 106.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Set the QNH while I remember. So of course, pushback with Pushback Express. We've unfortunately not got any decent scenery for Singapore, but we can roughly see the taxi lines that we're going to need to follow. It's an odd curve as we push back. And we'll start the engines.
You are cleared behind and can start your engines at your discretion.
Hey Romsey, welcome to the channel. Hope you're finding the videos useful, model matching and all that. Be sure to check out the VATSIM playlists as well if you want to get started on VATSIM. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you've noticed I'm streaming, that's nice of you to tune in. I really appreciate that. Bit of an odd turn this actually for us guys, but he's told us to push start facing east. I'm going to try and get it onto some sort of yellow line.
Singapore 143, squawk mode Charlie.
Pillar pilot, nice. Yep, sure. We're more than welcome. We'll be doing the return leg, of course. It's only 37 minutes each way, so, and hopefully we'll get Singapore radar for our arrival too on the way back. So let's slow the tug, and then we'll complete our pushback.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
It's FS2 Cruise Pushback Express, of course.
Singapore 143, confirm squawking mode Charlie already.
Those of you who watch regularly know that I'm pretty much always using that particular add-on. Let's do wing lights on, taxi lights on. Both engines are stable, green, mode norm. AP bleed off.
Maybe there's some issues, never mind. Surface wind light and bearable, runway 02 center, clear for takeoff.
Seb, that's great to hear, thank you very much. Get my taxi charts ready. And a pen as well, because there's going to be a lot. Redcap 106, request taxi.
Get Redcap 106, taxi via Papa 3, Echo Papa, holding point Echo 11, runway 02 center.
Taxi Papa 3, Echo Papa, hold Echo 102 center, Redcap 106.
Redcap 106, apologies, correction. Romeo 3, Echo Papa, holding point Echo 11.
Romeo 3, Echo Papa, hold Echo 11 for the runway 02, Redcap 106. Brake check. Go flaps 1. And we can taxi on idle, of course. I've not tested the fly-by-wire, custom fly-by-wire from the A320nX project yet, because I'm normally QA testing the all the other PRs. So I thought I'd give it a go today. Apparently it's very good, at least so far. And there's been a lot of work done on the autopilot and stuff as well as the flight controls and the way the surfaces work. So looking forward to this actually. And because it's up and down very quickly, it's going to test the fly-by-wire.
Singapore 143 identified on departure. Climb via seat, flight level 140.
Quite a bit.
Climb via seat, flight level
Dominic, nice. That sounds promising. Because obviously next Saturday we'll be doing first transatlantic, of course. Let's see. Echo Papa is dead ahead and then merging into that, isn't it? Yes, because that's a runway. But that's very good then. I know the Salty Sim mod is a little bit far behind compared to the A320nX project, but then they've only got 2 developers, I think, from my understanding. Auto brake max. Spoilers armed. So this is taxiway Echo Papa. Takeoff config check. That's green, and we'll do cabin all call. Down we go to hold Echo 11, which is down the bottom there. Signs are on, APUs all off, lights as required. Takeoff memos, no blue. Could put that on 20 for a bit of a better range. So while we make our way down to the bottom, let me show you guys Navigraph, using that to navigate on the ground, of course. Currently magenta arrow is our current position, of course. So down to Echo 11, which is down the very bottom of the airport there, very last hold point onto runway 02 centre. So I don't really need the maps for that now. The one before that is Echo 10 and then Echo 9, so number sequence, of course. The SID is the Masbo 2 Alpha. You can see there we're going to depart heading north up to Tokim, then turn left on a Masbo 2 Alpha to Akoma. We have to be over 7,000 foot, and then left again to Agvar, above 11,000 foot. Zooming out, of course, we can see our route for today. That Masbo 2 Alpha is that first bit up to that point, up to Sabka. And then from there, just a couple of waypoints, we'll pretty much then be straight into a descent into Kuala Lumpur. And you can see it's got a little bit of an odd arrival procedure.
143, climb and maintain flight level 220.
Got a slight odd arrival
Flight level
procedure, but
220,
we'll manage it. Worked pretty nicely before when I've flown in a little while ago. David, I've not made a decision yet actually with Navigraph, but now I know that it's coming to an end. It's in the back of my mind. I'm sort of getting withdrawals almost from knowing that very shortly I'm not going to have Navigraph anymore unless I do renew.
Your recap 106, surface wind light and variable, runway 02 center, clear for takeoff.
Runway 02 centre, clear for takeoff, red cap 106. Martin, to move vertically, so I just saw your message, you need to set the key binds so that up and down on your arrows and your keyboards mean that you can actually move the camera height up and down. It's cockpit height increase, cockpit height decrease are the two key binds that you want to find for that. Let's just slow down for the turn a second. I'm going to zoom out so I can see what I'm doing whilst also turning the lights on. So landing lights, strobe lights, wing lights already on. Takeoff members new blue.
Singapore 143, track direct Sabka.
So we've been given clearance. First time I'm going to take off with the A320nX custom fly-by-wire. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Do consider clicking subscribe down below. Join us as a frequent flyer. And yeah, the Navigraph moving map does help, especially on the ground. It's exceptionally good. So, via 02 sensor. V1 is 132. There we go. Such a tiny movement between flex and toga for me on the throttle. So thrust set, 80 knots. Yeah, Tan, unfortunately not. V1, rotate. We're airborne with the custom fly-by-wire. Positive rotor up. Basically, William, they've gone ahead and edited the way the fly-by-wire actually works. So they've gone in and edited.
Your recap 106 identified on departure, climb via SID level 140.
Climb via SID level 140, red cap 106. Basically they've gone ahead and edited the way the whole aircraft flies, the autopilot and everything else as well. And airborne out of Singapore, quite a steep climb initially for us, but I'm going to go ahead and calm it down very shortly, I think. We should also have flaps auto retract too, so when we get to a certain height. We should be able to let's see, please make sure this isn't bugging out a second. Seems to have got stuck on holding 32th. 3,200 foot per minute. So there are bugs with it. It is a very early work in progress, I guess. Lots to be done, but we are climbing too high and it's ignoring vertical speed mode there. To the point where, interestingly enough, we are slowing down quite considerably. So let's... this is a dev version of a dev version. Oh, you know what? How stupid of me. Why is it not working? I haven't turned autopilot on. Good grief. What a rookie mistake. I never do that. Oh well. We realised. So we should get a slap retract soon, but like an automatic one. Might happen, might not. But eventually over a certain speed, before we hit an overspeed with the flaps, they should retract. They haven't, so I'll give it another second. No, I'll do it manually. And go the flaps. So we're airborne. Left turn now. On the SID. And on our way to Kuala Lumpur, which as Tan's pointed out, there's no ATC available at the moment for that, but that's not too much of an issue, I guess. Great scenery out here. There's a Singapore Central Business District freeware mod as well, so if you guys like to fly out of Singapore regularly, then that's on flightsim.to, and it pretty much builds in a lot of Singapore's centre. So this fly-by-wire custom build is, so we have the stable version of the A320nX, we have the master version of the A320nX, then we have the PRs, so everything I test, being a QA tester, is a PR, and if it works as expected and as described, we then approve it, it goes into the master, and eventually the master becomes the stable when they hit certain milestones. So the custom fly-by-wire in itself basically is a master version. It's basically a PR, is probably the best way to describe it, but on its own branch, separate from the other master. So it won't be merged.
Recap 106, amended flight level 240, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Amended flight level 240, climb and maintain flight level 240, red cap 106.
Singapore 143, you're leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8, thank you, have a nice evening.
That'll be us shortly.
Going to Unicom, Singapore 143, see you later.
2.8. Can reset the chrono. Passing 10,000, so we'll do landing lights off. We've already gone to standard pressure. But it is all of this is done, Romsey, by the fly-by-wire team.
Red cap 106, track direct to Sabka.
Direct to Sabka, red cap 106. This is good because we're testing how the entire aircraft is going to work, basically. So if it's going to fall out the sky or if it's going to fly as it should.
Speedbird 9er, you're leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8, have a nice day.
122.8, Speedbird 9er Heavy, many thanks and good day.
Echo, yeah, no problem at all. Those of you who are on the Discord server, they've not yet noticed, there's 2 new bits on there. There's a new role for First Officer for those on the Discord that have donated by whatever method, via Super Chat or the PayPal link on tutorials or whatever else, Streamlabs bot for example. So they've been given a First Officer role, and also there's a screenshot competition as well on the Discord server as well, so be sure to check that out. There's a it's a prize as such, but basically you get a dedicated role for winning the screenshot, and at the same time as well you can decide what route we fly in the A320 once the competition ends, and the thumbnail will be the photograph that wins. So we're pretty much almost there. We should get soon the aircraft shouting at us to enter destination information. So dot METAR WMKK. Get a METAR up ready. You see there, we're at 120 miles we're going to be in. So let's have a little look at some arrivals. Bobby 1 Papa arrival. And I'll show you guys Navigraphers again. It's quite handy when I'm explaining bits. We're going to be flying in down the bottom of the screen from Gupta. We have to be below flight level 230. Above 11,000 foot over Bobis with a max speed of 250 knots. There's a hold at Bobis if it's busy. And then on Bobis 1 Papa we want this internal line that goes up past Alsos, KK412, KK413 and so on. Up to KK415 we're then going to turn left and fly this extended downwind leg to Munov, descending down to 7,000 feet. And then we're going to turn around back on ourselves direct into Kuala Lumpur Airport. We're expecting runway 32 right, and transition via Munov as we've planned. So we can have a look at the charts for that as well. We can see from Munov, which is here, we're going to be flying a couple of waypoints to join a finals, and the initial approach fix there is Ansop, 14 miles out. We have to be at 180 knots. Intercept the ILS at or below 4,000 feet. So once we get to Sabka, we'll probably be told by Singapore radar that we need to go to Unicom. And we'll go ahead and put our data in for our arrival. So we've got the METAR. If we do it now, it gives us a little bit less to deal with during the arrival. On Unicom, of course, it's all down to us. So winds variable at 2 knots. I'll just stick 320 at 2. Temperature 26 degrees Celsius. And the transition altitude is on the charts 11,000 feet. The decision height for our approach, the ILS is 231 for the DH, or 300 for the MDA. So we go ahead and put either 231 in there, or we can put 300 in MDA. The DH links to the rad out on the bottom of the PFD, and that's what gives us our call out of minimums. Oh, and the QNH as well actually, I've just realised, 1009 as well. Move the camera back and realise there's a little blank space there. Check the RadNav page to make sure the frequency is correct, 109.1, which is correct. And I'll put the Kuala Lumpur VOR 116.1 in as well. As a backup. Cool. Looking good. The charts will become important when we're starting to fly the approach, or our arrival procedure rather, of course. We're pretty much going to get to flight level 240 and then start a descent effectively.
Recap 106, you have another traffic just 5 minutes ahead of you for the same destination. You are now leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8, good day.
1 ahead, 5 minutes, monitor Unicom 122.8. Thank you for your services, see you soon. Breakup 106. David, yeah, the Romsey, it's definitely not ready for VATSIM. Yeah, as David said there, the shared cockpit video has got a crazy moment in there where we transferred control and when we shouldn't have, it bugged out massively and put us into a quite crazy spiral down from, I think we were at 37,000 feet or something, weren't we? By the time we recovered, we were at 9,000 feet. So it's not quite ready yet. So Masbo coming up. We want to be at Gupta, below flight level 230. Just going to stick it on open climb a second just to see what it does for the autopilot bits for the custom fly-by-wire. But it seems to be doing pretty good at the moment. Moving into a tailwind. Right on, Happy New Year to you too. That would be madness if something like that does come about. That'd be pretty cool, I think. I'm going to go ahead and drop down to 21,000 now. So putting constraints on, Masbo's above flight level 110, which we know is not correct, which is a little stupid because that's with Navigraph nav data inserted into the sim as well. So Gupta interestingly has no constraints either, but we know we have to be above flight level 230, or correction, below 230 when we pass Gupta. And then descending to Bobis, where we have to be above 11,000, so we can go ahead actually and commit our descent down to that. We can use a top of descent calculator. And I'll put it in the live chat, show you guys which one I use, it's free. And it's telling us we need a vertical speed of 1,400 foot per minute to reach Bobis by 11,000. Ah, Tan, you're in the Singapore flight ahead then, 5 minutes ahead I'm guessing. I'll keep an eye out for that then. The only suggestion would be maybe if you've inserted the arrival too late, what it tends to do, the MCDU tends to bug out, so if you overfly Gupta and then you add in an arrival, or amend your arrival, what sometimes it does is it will then refresh everything back to Gupta, and it will try and then turn you back, so... But Kuala Lumpur is pretty much on the nose now. 65 miles away, so a real short 37-minute hop, and then we'll be down. Turn around, we'll use FS2 Cruise Pushback Express to manage all the ground equipment. It's filed a flight plan for the return as well. So what I can do as well is go into sim brief, and I can go ahead and click to edit flight, and basically just reverse all the values. Let's give it a sour route for the return. Batak 1 Charlie, Bata 1 Charlie departure, and then a Rama 1 Alpha arrival into Singapore Changi for the return. Well, I'll go ahead and generate that ready. Northern Pilot, yeah, making use of the specs bot command, nice. It's a question I get asked a lot, so I've turned it into a little command for you guys, so you can see what my specs are. So we've passed Gupta, we're now inbound Bobis, 29 miles away. Go ahead and put the Kuala Lumpur VOR on as well as a backup, just so we can start prepping for arrival. And at some point the aircraft should start to slow down because we've got that speed constraint at Bobis of 250 knots, as we can see there. We're going to allow ourselves to level off at 11,000 until we pass Bobis, although that should prevent us, that constraint there should prevent us from actually descending now, because I think that's built into the I think it's actually built into the aircraft. So after that we've got Alsos, so I'm going to try and put in 10,000 managed. I'll see what it does. Oh, back to Gupta, is it? Grief, yeah. It's bugging out for me as well then, Tan. Interesting. Absolutely no reason for that to have happened. We overflew it. But it's just decided to go ahead and do its own thing anyway. Very bizarre. And you can see there we've got another Gupta in, weirdly, so direct. Yeah, Bobis, Gupta, Bobis. God, that's very broken, isn't it? I'm going to go direct to that one. See what that does. That is a terrible bug. And even again, still Bobis, Gupta, Bobis. What I might have to do is go direct Alsos. As we get a bit closer, I'm going to go ahead and we'll do it direct to Alsos as we get nearer. Pillar Pilot, I have no idea where we're going to park actually. Haven't really thought about that too much just yet. Tan, wherever you park, let me know and I'll come and taxi up and park next to you. And then Pillow Pilot will know roughly as well what stand we'll be aiming for. Tom, yep, this is the custom build fly-by-wire system. So I think it's got all the custom autopilot stuff built into it as well. Being tweaked and built into it over time. It's working pretty well so far actually, I've got to say. That constraint's not going to hold anymore either, because it seems to have removed itself now it's bugged out. What we might have to do is go direct Alsos. We'll see if that clears it. Yeah, good. That seems to have got rid of the bug. Very odd. Last Tan, you're landing 32 left, gate Bravo 2. I was planning for runway 32 right. Tom, it's not in the development version just yet, it's in a side branch away from that. Munov. I don't really want to edit that now. So the constraints are labelled wrong anyway, because it's all labelling below flight level 120, which doesn't really help us because it's not even holding the speed constraints. Let's go and stick approach phase on. But you know what, in fairness, okay, that's in managed mode, that's why. Cosima, no, it doesn't do a top of descent calculation just yet. They're still working on VNAV, but it is in progress. It's not there yet. It does give you, every now and again, it will give you a top of descent marker, so you'll see roughly where you're aiming for on your descent, but it won't calculate it for you just yet. So I use the website that I linked in the live chat a few minutes ago just to work out what I want to do. KK415, which is up there, the top of the sort of like radial arc style path. That's a max of 230 knots and flight level 130 to 11,000 feet is what we want to aim for. So we're going to have to stick to that. Then it's a left turn to Munov, descending down to 7,000 for our arrival. Pillow pilot, very good question. We've got unreal weather on today. It's just pulling in the METAR currently from Malacca Airport, giving us all that information there. And we're below transition, so yeah, Cosimo, yeah, if I have no idea how to code myself. Okay, Tan's going direct to Munov from Bobis. Are you already past Bobis then, or because I've passed that a few minutes ago, unless I've really caught you up somehow? I should be able to see you then if you're really close. What we've got for way of terrain. Okay, let's go direct to Munov then. We've got 2 Munov there, interestingly enough. So we're going to direct Munov. I'm going to land on 32 right. Tan's landing on runway 32 left. We're going to go descend 7,000, shall we? We'll go manage speed, so we'll hold that green dot, which is the most efficient rate of descent. On idle, seatbelts on. Oh, and cabin all as well, of course. Let's brake low. Cosmo, definitely. Pushback Express, especially if you wanted to use VATSIM, Pushback Express is an absolute saviour for it because you get full control of the ground equipment and the aircraft, the rudder control and the pushback tug. Being able to be controlled by our inputs as well is really good. So I highly recommend it. Okay, we're going to go direct Munov then, following Tan's route. It appears my Singapore Airlines livery is broken as well because it's not allowing it to be spawned by AI. So Munov at 7,000. Then it's a left turn up to our approach. What we can do is line up for, that's still Singapore Changi for some reason, WMKK, open charts. We could do the ILS for runway 32 left, which is treble 19. Triple 19. Okay, so we're going to do the same then. And we'll see how the aircraft handles all of this, the tight turns and everything. So in via Burby, and it's looking okay actually. Still 116.1 for that Kuala Lumpur VOR. Although we're not firing a VOR approach. ILS 241. So slightly higher for the rad out for our decision height. 288 would be MDA for this approach. Got the approach speed of 134. I'm going to want a bit of speed brake. Passing Munov. Okay, pillar pilots round as well. Just turn left any second. To be Air Asia pillow pilot, it's Alpha X-Ray Mike, which is the 3-letter code for Air Asia. Oh goody, it's bugged out. Of course it has. It's going to go direct to some reason it's going direct to KK407, look, instead of Burby. I mean, in fairness, we could probably just let it do that. Flaps 1. Nice slow snap extension there. We might be able to see on this window view as we go through the cloud. Probably a bit too much of an angle actually for us, but Kuala Lumpur is off in the distance over there actually. There we go. Armour spoiler. Should be turning shortly. 2.5 miles. ILS is on. You can see there we've got Cat 1 ILS and glide slope runway 32 left being identified. Keep knocking the throttle today. Not sure why. Going ahead and activate approach phase on the autopilot as well, just to give it a chance to start to fly. The approach. And in we go for the turn. Is that off? No, it's on. Looks like it's off from that angle. Very odd. Flaps 2. I'll have a little look in the flight deck very shortly to see if it's actually flying the glide slope nicely. If you're new to the channel, very warm welcome. Do click that subscribe button and join us as a frequent flyer. And check out the VATSIM tutorial mini-series that I've gone and created over the last few months. to help you guys get started on VATSIM with a handy guide and all that sort of stuff. So there's a whole playlist dedicated to short, snappy, informative videos to help you get started on the network if you want to give it a go. Probably about 15 miles finals now. Cosmo's not flown the new update yet. It can't do that sort of stuff. Anything related to VNav it struggles with, really. RNAV is more of an issue with whether or not the sim is going to let you do an RNAV approach, as to whether it will work in effect. So that it's quite hit and miss. Kuala Lumpur traffic, red cap 106, inbound on the ILS, runway 32 left, established on the ILS, 13 mile finals. Yeah, 32 left, good. Thought I was just making up random runway numbers there. So, ready to land. Go around altitude is proceed on track 326, a runway heading, climb to 3000. And then back to the Kuala Lumpur VOR, which is what we've got programmed ready to go. So we've got that active in case of a go around. You can see at the bottom of the nav display it's giving us that readout. And we're showing nicely on the ILS actually. The white arrow is the VOR indication. So a slight offset, it's going to be right at the top end of the airport somewhere. Last time I flew in here on VATSIM, we got given a really steep descent on the way in with a load of direct twos, and it got to the point where the aircraft actually started to run away from us a little bit, and it was when speed brake was being edited by the fly-by-wire team too, so it was at a stage where it was too slippery, and managed to only get it down to a reasonable speed at about 1,000 foot from the ground. Because at that point, the speed brake just didn't do anything at all. But that's why we do all the testing. So looking good on the approach. Not too far to go now. Let's go gear down. Next stage of flaps. And full flaps.
$2,500.
There's a roll-out call-out. You can see up ahead the runway, got 2 red, 2 white on approach. And we are nice and stable on this long ILS finals. Great part of the world to fly in, looks fantastic. Hopefully at some point the airports get a big revamp from, whether it be freeware or payware. Hopefully we get all that added in. Let's go back to the flight deck. Currently of course it's a little lacking. Kuala Lumpur and Singapore are auto-genned, unfortunately. So coming up to 4 miles. We should be at 1,322 at 4 miles. So it'll be a final altitude check there. So we're looking at the rad out. Bang on, perfect. Cosmo. Yep, I I actually released a video a couple of days ago that gave everybody a tutorial on how to create those custom views. 1,000 foot, so I'll fly in for the rest of the way. I get a little bit of a feel for the fly-by-wire system then as well.
1,000.
Two red, two white. We're nice on the glide slope as well, looking at the PFD for the hand-flown part of the ILS approach. Two red, two white on the pappies, so that's given us a good profile too.
500. 400.
Skimming the trees, approaching minimums.
300.
Continue.
Minimum 200.
David J, you're correct.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Actually, we don't even need reverse thrust really for this sort of arrival because the airport's right at the very end. So we can come off at Charlie 6, which I think is just coming up here. So I've taken over, he says he's taken over manual braking. I've now. And I need some parking stands, so let's have a quick look at Navigraph. Just so many, just too many routes really, too many charts just for taxiing on the ground. Tan said he was going to Bravo 4, didn't he? So where's Bravo? Okay, so I'm going to have to go Charlie 5. We're miles away still. Such a big airport, but not particularly well laid out, I don't think. Flew in here a while ago. It's basically the whole airport is all the way down there in the distance. Oh, there's the guys. Kuala Lumpur traffic, red cap 106, runway vacated, taxi to stands. APU. Interestingly, it doesn't give us moving maps either. So we'll go on the interior, or the internal line. Get rid of the flaps. Yes, as David's saying, the fly-by-wire mod does need some less dead zones. I haven't actually changed mine for this because I wanted to see what it was like as a direct comparison to the Asobo version, if you like, of the fly-by-wire model. It flew very well actually. It was really nice. You can hear the new APU sounds. That's firing up. We haven't got any Air Asia announcements, but we have got some Singapore Airlines ones. So if we were in those colours today, we could do after landing announcement.
For ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off. When leaving the aircraft, please take care when opening the overhead compartments and check that you have not left anything behind on your seat and in your seat pocket. If you have a connecting flight, please note that the boarding gate will close 10 minutes before departure time. It's been our pleasure serving you on this flight. Thank you for flying Singapore Airlines, a member of Star Alliance.
But of course we're not using that, because we're in Air Asia X colours. Now I think I want to turn on to Foxtrot, which I think is here, next left. I'll have a little quick look at the signs as we go past. That's giving us Golf. Yeah. So interestingly, that taxiway that's behind us that we've just passed isn't even on the charts. And Foxtrot looks like it should have been the one we've just passed. So, as usual, Asobo haven't quite married it all up, I don't think, although I'm not familiar with the airport, but it certainly doesn't look like it's done correctly. And then we taxi on in. There's another part of the airfield as well, all the way over there. And interestingly, there's a generic Asobo building going across the entire apron, blocking the taxiway. So if you're taxiing down that end, make sure you don't end up driving into the building, because it can go a little bit wrong on VATSIM. Always try and have a look at the charts and second guess where you might be heading. The aircraft should have reset itself. Yeah, there we go. So this, for example, then, if we land too smooth, there's a real thing in the sim community about absolutely buttering and trying to get your landing foot per minute as close as to zero as possible. Oh look, there's a piece of grass that shouldn't be there. Well, that shouldn't be there. So again, another Asobo special. I'm just going to go straight over it, because I'm following the charts and they show that there's this is one long straight taxiway. But yeah, it's supposed to be Kuala Lumpur Airport. It's quite bad, isn't it? It's absolutely nothing similar to the charts. There's Tan and Pillow, Pilot. So let's go ahead and... Oh, we can't use that stand. We'll use the next one. We've already got our APU on bleed. Turning on stand, got to turn the taxi light off, the nose light. Yeah, it's quite a bad rendition of an auto-gen, really. Absolutely none of the taxiways really add up properly. And of course, because it's so broken as well, Navigraph doesn't work with it, so the ground maps, none of them are supported, I don't think, from what I can find so far. That's engines 1 and 2. There's the sim recording it. Yeah, again, it's never recording takeoffs. I don't know why. And then you get this horrible stutter at the end. Just going to launch Pushback Express. Always run it as administrator, I do, especially if I run the sim as administrator. Because it seems to work a little bit more stably then, so I can toggle the jetway. I should be able to toggle baggage, toggle catering, and if I wanted to as well, I could toggle fuel and external power truck too, which is quite cool. So, how do we prep for the return? Let's see, back to the flight deck. I've already gone ahead and created a new return journey on SimBrief, so I'll just go through the same process as before and call in the new data via the init button. It's giving us a nice quick journey again, 37 minutes. And then init request. If we land too softly, sometimes this doesn't quite register, so you want to aim for around 200 foot per minute for a touchdown rate. That's a good landing. We'll do flight level 230 on the way back. New call sign AXM 107.
Okay, Red Cap 295 is down here at standard Bravo 4, aircraft type A320neo. We're going to make an IFR flight back to Whiskey Sierra Sierra Sierra.
So we disconnect from VATSIM and we reconnect with our new call sign. Sometimes that kicks model matching to work a bit better as well. So we can see pilot pilot, oh there we go, we just got another generic. So obviously the Singapore Airlines livery from flightsim.to that I've got installed doesn't work particularly well. But we can go ahead and switch the route in vPilot. And we want to get our data from SimBrief again for the return. Yeah, Echo, we're doing the return journey. We're going to have that Batar 1 Charlie departure, although, edit flights, it depends entirely on what runway we're going to use. So if we use runway 32 left, which is what we departed on, where's 32 right? That's 32 right down there, isn't it? I'm just going to use that. We'll depart on runway 32 right for the sake of simplicity and plan for an arrival on 02 left because that was the arrival runway when we were departing Singapore earlier, so we know that as a fact already. Echo, no problem at all. We are going to be just setting a few bits up. Yeah, Pillow Pilot, sometimes it just doesn't work. The latest couple of patches have really messed with it somewhat. So WMKK with a departure. Let's zoom out a little bit to about 40 because Batar's there, which is the end of our SID, sorry, and we want 32 right for departure. Batar 1 Charlie. So we click that, give it a couple of seconds to feed in, and we should see the actual, there we go, the actual SID get built in there for us. So in via Rumid and then to Batar for the departure. Insert. We've got one airway down to Arama, and then that's our planned arrival. And we want that Arama 1 Alpha into Singapore. This is what we're going to be planning for. And was was it 02 left, wasn't it? I think I said. So arrival on, we don't want RNAV actually. We want ILS. And interestingly it says no stars, and I had this the other day actually into Chicago and it really messed my sim up. And it's given us via a PIPO, which is I don't think correct either. Yeah, so it looks like we've got an issue with the return flight plan as well. Rama. So there's a Rama. Topor, a Rama, and then we should go out to Bobag, Bokip, Samco for our arrival, according to this. So again, we've got an issue with the sim yet again. What I might do is I'll do RNAV 02 left, no star. In via Samco though, so that looks like that will be correct. So if I insert that, and check that, so sometimes the sim likes the RNAV, and then in via Samco, but still we're missing Bobag and Bokip. So I'm going to see if I can actually force them in. So after Arama, we want to add Bobag, Bravo Oscar, Bravo Alpha Golf. Topo Arama. Now that's worrying. Where's Arama gone? On the list. This is where Microsoft Flight Simulator really lets itself down. Okako, Topo, and it's put itself in above Arama there, hasn't it? What a mess. So we'll have to get the charts out, and we'll have to fly this as per the charts, I think. So I'm going to have a little look whilst we wait for Echo and the other guys. I'm just going to have a little look on SimBrief and Navigraph. For the approach, ILS 02 left, in via Samco with the frequency of 110.9, 110.9, that's in there, and 116.5 for the VOR on the way in, for a go around. There's an additional one at Papa Uniform 115.1 and a NDB of 113. Oh no, that's another one actually. That's another. Good grief! There's a lot of VORs. Okay, well, in via Samco, and then we want Rama 1 Alpha. So you guys can see, of course, what the sim looks like in the nav display that we've just had a little look at. If I show you Navigraph, we should be heading off Arama at 147 degrees down to Bobag, where there's a hold, followed by a left turn 082 to Bokip, and then into Samco direct before committing to that ILS approach with radar vectors for runway 02 approach, as it says there, via Samco. So you can see how different that is to what the sim is actually giving us. So we'll have to have a little look as we get closer. So Tan's managed to get an Arama 1 Alpha star for 02 left. Tan, are you using Navigraph by any chance? trying to flick around. Definitely, I've got no.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't got this in the sim at all for myself, and that's departing 32 right out of Kuala Lumpur. So I've got Arama 1 Alpha start for 02 left, which is what we've got on sim brief, and that's what I'm planning for. But as you guys saw, I'm just getting no star on the arrival, which is really bizarre. On the return, of course, as well. Well, actually, that's the point. I need to file my flight plan. Plan for a 14:45 pushback. File that. Fetch.
Okay, Red Cap 295, we're on the Arama 1 Alpha, runway 2 left arrival, and we are pretty much ready to go. We'll just wait for those guys to load in. Is that okay? Yeah.
So it's Tan's saying there he's not got Navigraph. And the fact it's 80 quid a year for people that actually buy it for the entire year, for a yearly amount, or £9 a month, which makes it even more expensive. The fact that it's actually removed, I had this in Chicago the other day for you guys that watched Cancun to Chicago. I had no SIDS, I had no stars for that either, so that's pretty poor actually. Just make sure I recycle these V speeds, and I've just realised as well I need to make sure my init B page is up to date because I've got a new load. I'm just going to put 58.5. That's 29.6 for a 0 fuel centre of gravity. Block 5.5 again. Sim brief for the gross overestimation of fuel required again, as always. So that's done. Perf page. Just refresh these because I have changed a couple of the values. And we're ready to go, so that's as good as we can get. Let's leave it in Perf 1. There's no ATC, so I'm going to spool this straight up to our cruise of flight level 230. What stand are we at? That would help, wouldn't it, guys? Find out actually where I'm parked at Kuala Lumpur. Taxi. There's just so many routes. I have no idea. So many. There's about 100 charts just for routes around the airport. There's a moving map that tells me something. Well, it just tells me at Terminal 2. That's main airport terminals. I don't know, Bravo 6, Bravo 8. Kuala Lumpur traffic, Red Cap 107 at stand. Bravo 6, I think. Push back and start facing north.
Right, I'll join you, Red Cap 295, push back and start up facing north as well.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Echo, no problem, we'll taxi slowly for you.
Parking brakes released.
Not an issue.
Pushing back.
So Sobo really need to work on all of this really. The autogen's pretty poor. I think that's the old terminal. Correct me guys if I'm wrong, but I think that's the old terminal behind us there. Which I think someone was saying earlier, that's where Air Asia X is left, is based. Set kick-off with engine 1 start. We'll have to reset our squawk to 2000 because we're on a new flight and we have no clearance for it. And I'm going to take a bit of a wide turn so that I can push in front of Pillow Pilot, who's pushing at the same time. Tan's got a straight push as well. I'm actually going to try and get this nose onto the yellow line there for a nice curved turn. we watch engine 1 start, shall we? If you're new to the channel, do click subscribe.
Lumpur traffic, Singapore 143, Bravo 2, pushback and start facing north.
And there's Tan pushback.
Red Cap 295, just pushing back behind the guy on Bravo 2. I'll pull forward in a second so that I'm out your way.
So pushback express, someone was asking earlier. You can actually control the tug and push it forwards like we're doing now. So I've pushed forwards on my joystick and I'm actually controlling the aircraft forwards. It does give you, for this, it gives you a very limited rate of turn. That's maximum turn rate
Noted, we'll give way to...
if you're using that. That's the absolute most that we can turn there. So we moved nice and clear anyway. That's a great feature on Pushback Express.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the left side with the pin.
We actually went
Thanks,
through a little
you can
phase where
disconnect and go
Microsoft
to
Flight
hand
Simulator
signals.
kept braking
Have a
every
good
time
flight. See you later.
I did a turnaround and used Pushback Express. I went through a phase where if I did, it would instantly trigger a crash to desktop, which is, you know, got a little bit annoying after a little while, I'll be honest. So Tango 2, Tango 3, let's have a little look on our taxi route. Tango 2. Just check I've got everything ready to go in view pilot properly, and that's looking okay. And it's a Bata 1 Charlie. I'm actually working on a tutorial, guys, at the moment. I was trying to do bits just before I started today's stream, funnily enough as well, on what to do if you're just on
Alright,
Oh.
Unicom.
camera should be out of your way, you're Red Cap 295.
What to transmit and sort of tips of what not to do, things like that. I should have turned the beacon on, naughty naughty.
Singapore 143, pushback and face north.
And that as well, actually. So beacon on, taxi nose lights, seatbelt signs. APU's off. Got flaps 1. Arm spoiler, we can go take off max. We could do a flight control check as well, so what we should really do, I don't really tend to bother because it is a sim. We could go onto the flight controls tab here. I can show you full left, full right, forward stick, full rear, and rudder deflection as well, and all that sort of stuff. So that's quite cool. We'll pretend we're Singapore Airlines. We'll use their announcements at least for the taxi. Lumpur traffic, Red Cap 106, taxiing to hold Alpha 10 via Tango 2, Bravo 7 and Alpha. Runway 32, right.
Red Cap 10, I will follow you, Red Cap 295.
Singapore 143 will follow Red Cap 295.
So, Bravo 7, this link right into Alpha.
Red Cap 10 don't be alarmed, Red Cap 295, I'm just going to go up the right hand side on Bravo here.
Refresh the overlay for you guys for the return. The announcement package is the Luke Air tool. It's available for free to download currently. Bear in mind some of the announcements are very long, so factor that into your taxi journey. So we can see we're almost at the hold, but they are very good. They also have a PAX sim, so they rate your landing and do cabin service and stuff as well. But for the way out, we'll use all of their little demonstrations and announcements for Singapore, even though we run AirAsia X, of course. That's Alpha 9. It doesn't use PAC-X. It's got its own. It's called PAX Sim. So it's got its own version. Sam, nice one. Make sure you're checking out the vaccine mini-series I've got on the channel. Check the links in the description of those as well. I've actually created some handy tutorial PDFs to try and help people get started on there. So we're not actually ready for departure, so we're going to have to hold at the whole point till the end of the cabin announcement. Jolly good. Lights on. Kuala Lumpur traffic, Red Cap 107 via Alpha 10, lining up departing runway 32 right at Batar 1 Charlie departure. Brilliant. I'm going to hold position now because of all the seconds to be taxiing onto the runway, the controller's just come online. Where did he come from? 1242. Yeah, I'm doing it. It doesn't understand how long it takes. Lumpur radar, good evening. Redcap 107. You just caught me there, holding at Alpha 10, ready for departure.
Redcap 107 Lumpur radar, good evening. Hold your position and until clearance is given.
Roger, holding position, Redcap 107.
Redcap 295, holding Alpha 11, I believe. Ready for departure. Ready for departure.
We've already gone beyond, so he shouldn't have.
Redcap 295, this is Lumpur radar, good evening. Hold your position until you get an ATC clearance.
Hold position, Redcap 295.
Lumpur radar, good evening. Singapore 143 at Bravo 13.
Singapore 143,
Plus
this is
2.
Lumpur radar, good evening. Hold your position until you get an ATC clearance.
QNH is 1010 now. He's got departing runway 32 left and 33. So it says runway 32 closed for
Singapore 143, do you copy?
it says runway 32 closed for
143,
renovation.
Redcap 107, ATC available, report ready to copy.
Ready for clearance, Redcap 107.
Redcap 107, clear to Singapore Flight 10 road via Bata 1 Charlie departure, runway 32 right, initially 6,000 feet, squawk 5400.
Cleared to Singapore Bata 1 Charlie departure, initial 6,000 feet, squawk 5400, Redcap 107.
Redcap 107, read back correct and line up runway 32 right.
Line up 32 right, Redcap 107.
Redcap 107, surface wind come runway 32 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Redcap 107.
Redcap 295, ATC clearance available, report ready to copy.
So let's amend
Ready
that.
copy, Redcap 295.
Refresh.
Redcap 295, clear to Singapore Flight 10 road via Bata 1 Charlie departure, runway 32 right, initially 6,000 feet, squawk 5401.
Singapore on the back of 1 Charlie, runway 32 right, initial climb 6,000 feet, squawk 5401, Redcap 295.
So,
Redcap 295, copied, read back correct, and after departing aircraft, line up runway 32 right and wait.
Find the departing line and wait, Redcap 295.
Singapore 143, ATC clearance available, report ready to copy.
Go ahead, Singapore 143.
thrust set.
Singapore 143, clear to destination Flight 10 road via Bata 1 Charlie departure, runway 32 right,
80 knots.
6,000 feet, squawk 5402.
Cleared to Singapore by Bata 1 Charlie departure, runway 32 right, initial 6,000
B1.
feet, squawk 5402, Singapore 143.
Singapore 143, read back correct.
What's the rate go up? Terrain. That's an annoying bug that they we can't seem to get rid of.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
The SID is not actually correct either in the sim, so I'm going to have to hand fly some of this, I think. So we can go, I say hand fly, what we can do is activate autopilot still. Leave a climb, down into the climb gate. Lumpur radar, airborne passing, Redcap 107 airborne passing 2000.
Redcap 107, Lumpur radar identified, continue climb to flight level 23052.
Continue climb, flight level 230 with Redcap 107.
Redcap 107, after passing 3,000 feet, turn left, proceed direct over our course.
After passing 3000, turn left, direct to Echo, Redcap 107.
Redcap 295, expect departure in 2 minutes due to wet turbulence.
Past
So,
2 minutes,
refresh that.
Redcap 295, wait turbulence understood.
And left, here we go. No. No you don't. Wow. traffic's really testing me today, isn't it? Left turn, Ogako. Yeah, it's an odd time for a controller to come online, really. It's great because we obviously have ATC given to us at that point, but it can be a little bit difficult for us when we're actually already lining up and committed onto the runway. So you're pretty much left turn and then going straight back on ourselves over the airport by the looks of it. So if I go to manage mode now, we should be able to continue a left turn. There's Kuala Lumpur in the distance. Emil, hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. You're tuning in just after departure at Kuala Lumpur, and we are heading back to Singapore Changi. We've got Pillow Pilot on the threshold 32 right, and Tan, who requested the flight, just behind him. So we're all in sequence, three of us, on the way back. And Sod's Law, just as we start to fix our departures, controllers come online. So we go left turn and then direct Ogako. So we've been given a shortcut because of traffic, and you guys will be able to see on Navigraph if I show you. We're cutting out all of the pink line.
Are we able to depart now?
And going straight to Ogako.
Aircraft 295, surface wind left and variable, runway 32 right, clear for takeoff.
We're actually going to get an amazing view over Kuala Lumpur, watching the other two on the ground by the looks of it.
Singapore 143, after departing aircraft, line up, runway 32 right behind.
Line up 32 right after departing traffic, Singapore 143.
Ooh, what view is that? Pressed the wrong button, didn't I? Fat fingers. There's one of the guys on the ground there, just by the cursor, and there's Tan just below that as well. Although,
Bracket 107, confirm proceed direct Oscar Golf Alpha Kilo Oscar.
Hey firm, director Ogako, Oscar Golf Alpha Kilo Oscar, Red Cap 107. I'll do it again. That is where we're going now. So in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, the sim doesn't really take into account the fact that it doesn't fly direct twos particularly well at the moment still. What it should do, we could have it ready, and it should update as the aircraft continues to fly along the planned route anyway, until it's accepted and entered in as a direct two, committed to the aircraft. What the sim does currently is when you say I want to go direct to the waypoint, the moment you select it, once you consider doing it, what it then does is it decides to draw a line. There's Tan just on the ground. Pillow Pilot's up in the air somewhere behind us, just departing. Acceleration indicates to me we are over 10,000. Standard, done it again. Standard pressure. Landing lights off. Seatbelt signs off. We can use Singapore Airlines announcements again, I guess. What have we got? Full takeoff. Weird. It says before takeoff, but the icon is after takeoff. Let's click it and see. Doesn't do anything. Duty free.
Duty free shopping is available. enjoy $20 off and receive a packet of cruise shop grab packet for every $180 spent in a single receipt while stock lasts. More details can be found in the cruise shop catalog. Thank you.
So check out Navigraph, it's a very quick route. We'll be on Unicom in a minute. We're going to be coming in via Arama at the top there, as you guys can see, and we had issues where the sim didn't particularly like the route. It didn't give us an Arama 1 Charlie arrival because Navigraph seems to have broken the nav data in Microsoft Flight Simulator somehow with the subscription, which is not particularly, I'm not too impressed by.
Okay, 2 Nano 5, turn left, proceed direct Obama.
But we're going to go Arama 147 degrees
direct Obako.
down to Bobag at the bottom of your screen.
Singapore 143, surface wind light and variable, runway 3
Turn left
right,
to Bukit and then Samco, and then we've got the little weave there, all the arrows there mean basically radar vectors for runway 02 approaches, where they're going to manage all the traffic.
Lumpur approach, Malaysia 5411, good evening sir, inbound police, request to descend.
So we go from Samco, a little bit of a position change for our vectors. We're going to then target Enuma and then join our final approach there. We've got our glide profile from 3,500 foot intercepting the glide slope. And we're a Cat C aircraft, so decision height is 100 foot and the decision altitude, the MDA, is 122.
Malaysia 5411, Lumpur radar identified, when ready, descend to 7,000 feet, QNH 1010.
Descend to 7,000 feet, QNH 1010, Malaysia 5411.
Santa Maria Lopez, adios.
5411, turn left, proceed direct.
From Singapore, hello.
Turn left, proceed direct, Muno.
So you've got the new custom fly-by-wire stuff in the aircraft, of course. Probably delete the all page.
Singapore 143, airborne 2,400 feet.
Singapore radar is offline, unfortunately.
Singapore 143, radar identified, continue climb to flight level 230.
Climb 230, final Singapore 143.
We can go ahead and put our performance data in for the arrival as well, I guess. QNH 1010. This is from the latest METAR. 25 degrees Celsius, dew point 23 degrees Celsius, and the wind 350 degrees at 3 knots. Transition altitude is 11,000 as well, and we've got our rad out of 100 for our decision height, so we'll use that. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete the nav data from Navigraph after this because it's not really acceptable, but it doesn't work particularly well. Coming up to our cruise altitude of flight level 230 already. There's the Arama arrival. So we're already pretty much on the way back into Singapore. Arama 1 Alpha is our arrival route. Routing from Arama, speed 250 knots to Bobag, at or above 10,000, speed 220 knots, turning left to Bukit, at or above 6,000, to Samco, at or above 4,000, max speed 190 knots according to the charts, so we'll have to follow that of course. Let's reset the chrono, we're going into outstar mode there because we're about to level off. As we leave Malaysia.
Singapore 143, turn left, proceed direct Ogako.
Direct Ogako, Singapore 143.
So just looking at our descent profile, because now we're airborne, we already have to think about landing because it's a very short trip. 37 minutes exactly in the air apparently. We ideally want to descend with a 3 degree glide slope, so we want 1,400 foot per minute. But to get that, we need to start descent down to 10,000. Oh, actually that would help, wouldn't it? An extra 0. Top of descent is 50 nautical miles away from Bobag. So just before Aramo, 10 miles from Aramo, we need to be starting our descent. So at the next waypoint at Tokor, we're going to start our descent, 1,400 foot per minute.
Packet 107, you are leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8 today.
Monitor Unicom 122.8, thank you for your services, have a good day, Redcap 107, bye.
Happy New Year, cheers.
Happy New Year. Very nice controller. So on the live chat, I'm going to put in the link to our descent calculator, guys. Yeah, apparently 3-2 right, yeah, it's closed to construction, but I guess we didn't know that. So the link in the live chat, you can click on that and you can work out your top of descent. So those of you who use Microsoft Flight Simulator, in absence of a VNav that works properly, that's a great free tool. You can put in your data there and it gives you a quick bit of maths to work out when you need to start descending basically, and it'll tell you how many miles. It's a really good bit of kit. While I've got you here, if you are new, be sure to join us on our Discord server. There's a little screenshot competition going on at the moment on there. And a couple of new roles that have popped up as well, at First Officer, and for those who have chosen to generously donate and support the stream to help me bring better content. Top Ball is next, so a little left turn, 30 miles away from there. Then we're going to have to guess, because that's when everything goes wrong. If we haven't got Singapore ATC, it looks like we don't have Singapore ATC. What I'm very tempted to do is just leave it in managed mode, just to see what the aircraft is going to do compared to our position on the Navigraph map, to see how off it is. Because if it's particularly bad, I'll be able to have a bit of a moan to Navigraph and tell them they can't really charge full price when it doesn't work properly. If ever you guys are on the sim and you're trying to work out what route you want to do that's nice and short, it's about 30 minutes, so an hour total from block time, gate to gate, then this is a great little journey, either Kuala Lumpur to Singapore or vice versa. And of course you're flying over a fantastic part of the world as well. I'll be releasing over the next few weeks a couple more tutorial videos. Can't say exactly what they're going to be, because I found that over the last few weeks, whenever I've announced it, I've had a YouTuber then jump the gun and get ahead of me. So as much as I don't particularly mind that, it gets a little frustrating when you're putting all the effort in to create a tutorial to help people out for the idea to get ripped. So be sure to keep your eye out on the channel for that. It's just pulling the next METAR in there on Unreal Weather. Still quite a violent transition, unfortunately. Tokor is coming up, and we want to go from there. 1,000. What was that descent path? 1,380 foot per minute is telling us. 47 nautical miles and a 11-minute descent. speed at BOPIP's 220 knots, isn't it? So what would that give us? 48 nautical miles. Pretty much ready to go for our descent now. It all happens very quickly on these sort of streams. Before you know it, you're down. Macro Simulations, good afternoon. How's the progress going on at Birmingham Airport? For those of you who missed it yesterday as well, of course, we went live from Manchester Airport, checking out the very latest updates from Macro Simulations. And it's looking very, very good so far, as it did do on release anyway. And then we flew to Mykonos, which is quite a nice arrival. Not long to go now, 65, 70 miles, and then we'll be on the ground. So if you told us, you'd have to kill us, Mako, right? Let's start descent. 1,400 foot per minute, wasn't it? I said, and we want to start to bring our speed down to 220 knots. We can use the Luke Air tool again for the next descent announcement, although it is Singapore Airlines and we're Air Asia, but we'll use the announcements anyway to show what the Luke Air tool does. We go. Roger Moore's enjoying the early sneak preview of Birmingham. Good to see. It's yeah, it's very, very promising. Quite a big one actually for the sim community. On VATSIM especially, Birmingham's much used, as is Manchester. Echo, yet there will be another stream this week. I haven't got round to figuring out what I'll be doing yet though, so I'll be looking at my content suggestions channel, I would imagine. For inspiration on the Discord server. But things like tutorials and things, unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, I won't be pre-announcing what tutorials I'll be releasing, having recorded them, because work getting pipped by other people once they find out what I'm doing. Ordinarily, I don't tend to mind, but it's just you put a lot of effort in. It takes a couple of days at least to make a tutorial. Let's have a little look at content suggestions then for what we could do. I'll be doing a stream tomorrow, guys. Wesley suggested Copenhagen to Nuuk. We've got Grenada to St Kitts and Nevis, Manchester to Innsbruck with the circle to land procedure, Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, which we're doing today. I can tick that off the list of requested routes. Roger Moore, thank you. No problem at all. It's going to be a good little long haul trip actually. Hopefully it all goes well with the aircraft. What's going on here then? Right, so we should be 147 degrees. So yeah, Navigraph data. Interestingly, it's given us the line, but it's not wanting to fly it. And now I'm clicking things by accident. Right, we should actually be heading off that way. So Navigraph data is very wrong. I'm going to do a corrective input of 150 degrees. Lex is asking for Gatwick to Jersey. Pillow Pilots suggesting North Germany, Paderborn to Manchester. That's the Aerosoft freeware. Echo's thinking about Stockholm free scenery. Southend to Edinburgh and back from Echo. Quite a few ideas getting thrown about there. I was actually thinking of doing something like Manchester to Hamburg to go and revisit the Just Sim scenery that I covered on a little review video a few weeks back. Singapore right off in the distance over there somewhere through the haze. Not that it's been rendered properly just yet. We're now flying this manually because, as I was talking about earlier, the charts aren't that correct. So I was leaving the aircraft to go and do its own thing just to see, and you can see we're drifting quite off route.
Red Cat 295 will be starting descent flight level 100 km/s.
So the guys behind us who have not got Navigraph nav data have got this star built into the sim correctly. Interestingly, I've got the Navigraph data and I've lost the star off my MCDU, so it says there's no stars available for every approach that I've checked, which is not good enough. So I'm having to literally look at the map on Navigraph and roughly try and calculate what's heading I need to stay on track, and to get back on track rather. But I know I have to be at 10,000 at Bobag and then Bokip 6,000, so I'll just follow the charts. Once we get down to near Bobag, we can turn left. We want auto brake low, ground spoilers armed. That's all good. Seatbelt signs are already on. Once we get below 10,000, we'll be selecting landing lights on. Near at 11,000, that's our transition altitude here, so we'll be looking at going to the local QNH. 1010. Yeah, if you let me know what you guys think to the idea of doing Manchester to Hamburg and back. Nice little journey. Normally North Germany, Bremen radar. Hamburg's normally got ATC on as well with that sim, so could be a little good one to do. But yeah, as Echo's saying, actually I've got the Southend scenery that I've not even bothered to check out yet, so maybe I could do some Southend stuff. Although I'm not going to be going Ryanair because I despise the airline. We're coming just back onto track now for our route down to Bobag, so I'm going to go ahead and start to correct the route. We'll go to the local QNH now because we are pretty much coming up to transition altitude of 11,000. And we already have entered that destination data. A little early for approach phase, but I'm going to have it there ready. And we've pretty much descended on idle the entire time. Pillar pilot, yeah, no, I can't stand Ryanair. You'll never see me flying out of them, but I'll look at some others. Perhaps maybe British Airways make a one-off appearance, or EasyJet. Quite like EasyJet. Love BA. Not a fan of Ryanair at all. So almost at Bobag, which is, for visual reference, it's sort of, where is it? So where this little island is here that we can see, in fact where that little bit juts out where the cursor is, that but in a direct line over the water from us now, that's pretty much where Bobag is. So I'm having to visualise it as I go to try and work it out. And then we'll be turning left, descending down to 6,000, up to Samco. You can see there what the aircraft wanted us to do, which is just not correct. And Singapore off in the distance. Yeah, I guess Southend's a bit of an odd one, isn't it, really, for an airport. Most people would probably just go to Stansted instead, which I think has been described as the world's most depressing departure lounge, bizarrely. Pillow Pilot, we did do the video on shared controls the other day, and it was not really good. It was it went pretty badly, actually. We lost control of the aircraft at one point in the cruise and almost crashed, so I won't be touching that until it's properly stable to use on VATSIM, because I don't want to use it on VATSIM and then find myself getting reported to a supervisor and getting banned off the network. That'd pretty much kill half of the sim. I'd have to resort to IVAO like Drawyer has done, and IVAO is rubbish. Let's turn some VORs on. And we want to turn to 082 degrees. That's all ready to go. Let's get some cool views while we make our way in. Yeah, Pillow Pilot, Joy got banned from VATSIM, but I think it's more because he refused to use his full name, which is understandable. So he was using Drawyer as his full name, and that's against the VATSIM terms of service. So I think they banned him for that, bizarrely. Let's do a little position report. Changi traffic, Redcap 107, passing Bobag, descending to 6,000 via Samco, expecting ILS, runway 02 left. So we have to be at Bokit above 6,000 and then Samco at above 4,000. Yeah, Echo, I would have like PTSD triggered if I flew from Stansted, I think. Mogama, yeah, it's quite severe, isn't it, really? Personally, if it was up to me, I would not have my full name on VATSIM either. Just for privacy more than anything else. Especially doing YouTube content and things, but they require it. It stipulates it in the terms of service quite clearly, so there's no way around it, really. And part of the terms of service is that they can just ban you for absolutely no reason and not even give you a reason. They can just kick you off the network completely, which is basically what happened. They booted him without even telling him, which is pretty severe. IVAO, on the other hand, because it's quite a crappy network compared, they're very, very relaxed on IVAO. But there's a lot less coverage as well. So you get a lot less controllers on IVAO. I mean, most of my streams, as you guys know, tend to be around daytime. And most of the time I seem to get controllers on, which is pretty sweet. Flaps 1. Samco is just the other side of this blob island there, sort of around this little conglomeration of tiny islands. That's where Samco is, and then we make a bit of a cool little turn in. What we can actually do here is just go direct Samco, enter, and that's going to kick the aircraft in to draw a line from our current path. Should do anyway. There we go. Straight to Samco. Then we should get left an VOT and fly that approach in to start our ILS. Our descent profile's a little high actually at the moment. So we'll be 4,000 by Samco and then approach. ILS DME runway 02 left. We want to be down at 3,500, so let's click that across. So you want to aim for a nice continual descent basically. Yeah, I'm very keen not to upset people at VATSIM because I don't want to lose my access. I quite enjoy VATSIM. There's Singapore Changi in the distance.
Changi traffic be advised, red taxi 95 is flight 110 descending 100 for the Bobag, sorry, the AMA 1 Alpha arrival, runway 2.
There's the Singapore Central Business District down there, and of course there's a bit of Asobo modelled stuff down there as well, though we're not going to go near that today, being on the route inbound that we're on currently. So a little left turn from Samco. I'm actually going to go ahead and arm manual heading select because I don't want to risk breaking the autopilot again, as we had on the outbound. For those of you tuning in, a very warm welcome. Make sure you do click subscribe down below. You've joined us towards the end of the stream. We're actually making our way in to Singapore Changi on finals now, almost, to intercept the ILS. We've selected an RNAV approach, but actually we want the ILS. Let's go ahead and select approach mode. Charts show us to intercept the ILS at 3,500 feet, so that's what we're going to be doing. Changi traffic red cap 107 established on the ILS runway 02 left. Flaps 2. So start to configure now for our final approach. Testing the new fly-by-wire updates to the A320nX project. It's a little sidebar of the actual development, so it's in its own folder if you like. Speed brake low, landing lights are on, seatbelt signs are on, ground spoilers are armed. We've done cabin secure, and we are now 18 miles out, so 18.2, lovely. he's coming in 15 minutes. There's about 4 aircraft flying in now, actually. Quite cool. We'll be doing a stream tomorrow, roughly the same time, around about 1 PM I would imagine, UK time, 1 o'clock Zulu, and we'll be going somewhere in the UK to somewhere in Europe. We haven't quite decided where yet, but I'm going to try and get it sorted in the next hour or so and get a stream scheduled for you guys so you can actually see when and what's happening. If you want to feed any suggestions for what you want to see, it is your channel. You guys are tuning in and watching the content, and I love you for that. Then
Breakout 295 is
head to Discord.
about 5 miles out from Akita. Flight level 80, but descending flight level 350, left it a bit late.
We've actually got
a
content suggestions
ETA
tab.
is about 10 minutes.
Content suggestions tab on Discord, where you can actually feed in your requests for what you want to see. Just on the glide slope now, so we've activated final approach mode. It's configured for an RNAV approach, hence why we've got a bucket there, but we don't actually want to use that. The only way we could get the approach that we managed to build in, which was still not correct, was to actually select the RNAV approach. Get down. FN crew, welcome. Two red, two white on the runway ahead, and let's get a little view of Singapore as we make our way in, shall we? Badly rendered buildings, but a couple of actual legit bits, as we can see there in the distance. A couple of actual hand modelled parts of Singapore's central business district.
2,500.
So Pillow Pilots decided to join us today. He's flying behind us, as is Wes, who actually requested Tan actually, sorry, who requested this journey today. So Tan's flown with us both ways, out of Singapore to Kuala Lumpur and back again. So hope you've enjoyed the stream. Just have a quick check again to make sure we haven't got any controllers. Yeah, we haven't got anyone yet. When you're on Unicom, always address the airport that you're contacting. So here, for example, it would be we would use Changi traffic or Singapore traffic. Matt's good question. Type in the live chat !specs, and it should load up a bot eventually. Anyway, he says. There we go. So that's the specs that I've got for my computer set up, if that's what you mean. You can see the RNAV bucket now starting to come in nicely, which ordinarily, if we didn't have the ILS modes on, we'd just be using that. We'd be flying that box.
Red Cat 107, we have caught up with you a little bit. If you could just sort of, yeah, I'll slow down to minimum approach speed, but if you could make a quick exit, that'd be much appreciated.
Right there.
Red Cat 205.
Yeah, Roger, I'll see what I can do.
Thanks very much, make a safe landing.
Let's see, taxiways, airport briefings. 02 left, so I'm going to go to medium auto brake then to try and get off quicker. Whiskey 5 is the nearest one actually I can try and get off at. I have control. So flight manually, we've got the custom fly-by-wire controls, which are really good. Still a work in progress, but they're working on revamping the entire autopilot system, building in the VNAV stuff as well. Okay, looking nice and stable on the approach.
500.
Little bump there, little gust that's dropped us slightly, so we're just factoring back on the glide slope. Bizarrely, there's barely any wind, but it's variable enough to just keep throwing the aeroplane around a little bit.
above.
Minimums. Continue.
Minimum 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 5.
There's the exit that I'm going to try and achieve. Whiskey 5 coming up. It's actually further than I thought it was. Changi traffic, Red Cap 107 for Kate at Whiskey 5.
Thanks so much, Red Cap 105.
So, taxi. Managed to get down just in time for Pillow Pilot there behind us to get down with us without having to go around, so that's a good thing. We're just going to taxi to a random gate, I think. But there we go, welcome to Singapore, guys. We're going to use Singapore Airlines' announcements again, even though we're at Asia X. There aren't any available for this yet, for this airline.
For ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off. When leaving the aircraft, please take care in opening the overhead compartments and check that you have not left anything behind on your seat and in your seat pocket. If you have a connecting flight, please note that the boarding gate will close 10 minutes before departure time. It's been our pleasure serving you on this flight. Thank you for flying Singapore Airlines, a member of Star Alliance.
Just want to see if I can catch Pillow Pilot landing. Gadget, I think that is actually handmade, actually, interestingly enough, but I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. I'm not familiar. I've never been to Singapore, so I'm not too sure. There's Pillow Pilot on the ground. Tan is a couple of minutes behind. There's us. Not sure what that red light is there.
Number 140 left, 13 pound final.
So APU bleed. We continue our taxi. We're going to park at one of these stands here so we can watch Tan make his way in too. FM1, no I haven't. I very rarely fly this region of the world, so I tend to avoid purchasing any add-ons for places that I don't really visit too much. So I don't clog my sim up with loads of add-ons that I might only visit once or twice in a year. But Changi and Kuala Lumpur, both of the airports are quite disappointing really for the level of detail for an auto-gen. As we saw, Kuala Lumpur's very, very bad, very badly made. And there we go, we'll park up this stand here. Again, a lot of these stands at Changi are very badly done as well, so if we park where this yellow line is, actually the jetway will be in the wing, which again is, we don't want. So I'll just stop short. I'll kill the engines. And again, Microsoft Flight Simulator seems to not render the takeoffs, so we'll see what the logbook says when it loads. Yeah, no takeoffs, but one landing. Well, how do we get in the air then? Beacon, we've got APU on, we can go external power. Make sure they're retracted. Turn the landing light off. Wing as well can come off. And we can open pushback express. so we can control our ground equipment. Again, I always run it as administrator. So we can connect the jetway, in that goes. We can spawn power truck, we can spawn catering and baggage, so we can process our arrival. We can also call the fuel truck as well, so I can go ahead and click that while we wait for TAN. We'll see if it arrives. When it does, it triggers the fuel UI menu to pop up, which is quite cool. Again, it's about £20 I think for Pushback Express, but very, very worth while getting. And trying to see where TAN might be. I know he's on finals. I think he said 20 miles finals, I believe. But what we'll do is we'll go and get a bit more over to the runway. You can hear those new APU sounds as well from the fly-by-wire team. Really cool. We should start to see in a minute TAN making his way in 02. Singapore, there's a freeware bit of business stuff, but there's the hotel that Gadget was asking about. It's got, I think that's the one with a pool on top, isn't it? But there is a freeware mod that's actually done a load of Google photogrammetry and built the entire Singapore Central Business District into the sim, which is quite cool. Oh, there's TAN. Here he comes. So TAN requested today's journey. Thank you to him for requesting quite a nice little trip. No pressure. You've got to nail the landing now. Hope you guys watching have enjoyed today's stream as well. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the button down below, and I'll be scheduling a couple more live streams over the next week as well. Over the next few weeks. I'm going to try and schedule as much as I can in advance so you guys can see what's going on. And be sure to check out my VATSIM tutorials in the playlists for those of you who are new to the channel and want to get started on the VATSIM network. You're not quite sure where to start, what to say, what to do. I've created an entire mini-series for you guys. And if you click the links on, if you click the description of those tutorials for VATSIM, I've actually gone ahead and created little PDF tutorials too.
Red Cat 295 is down here at stand, just watching this guy land. Thank you very much for the flight, a lovely little journey. See you soon.
And there's TAN. It's a Singapore Airlines livery, but it seems to be broken for model matching, so we can't
Singapore traffic, Sierra Echo Hotel, we are crossing Portsmouth.
see him.
For the going direct south.
Yeah, FM1, I've heard the Zurich airport is very, very good indeed. So I might have a look at that, because obviously Zurich's a great airport anyway for flights. There's great events that go on at Zurich airport most of the time.
Number 143 vacated runway 02 left.
There's all of our ground crew hard at work, and we should, excuse all the messy drone cam guys, we should be able to zoom around. We should be able to see a little fuel truck making its way over to us at some point. It could be coming from absolutely anywhere on the airport though, let's face it. But yeah, make sure you check out those VATSIM tutorials and the playlists, sorry, the PDF files inside the links of the description as well. They're all free for you guys to use, and it helps explain it a little bit better than myself. But there we go, thank you all for watching. Thanks to TAN for suggesting today's route. And for flying with us as well both ways, and Pillow Pilot jumping on and having a little flight for the return journey as well. Nice little journey, highly recommend it. 37 minutes each way for those of you who want a short flight somewhere different, somewhere nice. But thank you all for watching, and see you guys tomorrow for another live stream.